Thank you. Another day I'm going to be grateful for air conditioning.
Every beast of the field and every bird of the air to Adam, to see what he would call. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had created. And the Lord God brought every beast of the field and every bird of the air to Adam, to see what he would do. Whatsoever Adam called, the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helper fit for him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he took one of his ribs and made it into a woman, and brought her to the man. And Adam said, she shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. The Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helper. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for if you eat thereof, you shall surely die. And when you die, the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the
European shores, they were traveling in a boat
Is there anything we can bring relief? Humanity has not ceased killing. The murder of one man has now grown to kill
we wrestled against a
Adam and Eve knew they had done something very wrong. When they ate of the fruit, their eyes were opened. They knew they were naked. They had disobeyed God. They tried to cover their shame by making fools of them.
So the last couple of days we have explored the Creation Museum today, and yesterday we did Ark Encounter.
So if you're not familiar with those, they are in Kentucky. So the Creation Museum is really close to Cincinnati, and then the Ark is probably about a 25-minute drive from here. Can't remember exactly the town, but it's definitely you can't miss it. It's advertised on the highway. So what are your thoughts on both days?
I liked them both for different reasons. I liked the Creation Museum, especially we got to listen to Ken Ham speak, and that was really impressive. And then also getting to work or get to see just the way that they interpret certain things, and that it kind of makes you think. The Ark Museum yesterday was impressive by mere size, for sure. And then just the grandeur of it itself was very impressive. It didn't make me think, and was some thought-provoking moments. Today during the planetarium display, I was just thinking, how in the world do scientists, quote unquote, know the facts that they were throwing out? I feel like that was kind of risky because it's hard to get somebody to believe in that versus, that it's in our solar system, things that we can see.
Yeah. Well, for me today, it's like, I don't know, I guess both days, it's kind of led me to want to go back, especially read Genesis. It's like things I feel like I missed, or like, I don't know if I miss it or if like just not remembering it, but it definitely makes me want to go back and reread. The dinosaurs, how it's explained, at first, you're kind of like, nah, because you have the secular side is saying that dinosaurs existed billions of years ago. And then today, they're saying that basically, I don't know if it was just saying the world was 6,000 years old, which is kind of, it messes with my brain because
it's biblical, though.
It's biblical.
It can be tracked back.
But I think a lot of that, too, is we don't know how, like, the 7 days God created, it's like, or the 6 days He created, then the 7th day He rested. But we've put that time as a 24-hour period versus do we really know what a day is in God's eyes? I think that's my biggest thing.
The Bible does say that it's a 24-hour period.
It's hard to. That's one of those things that I struggle with. Is like, I would think that the Earth is way older than 6,000 years. But again, that could be all the things that you've learned throughout, growing up and everything.
You have to unlearn the things that they've taught you and want you to believe.
But
again, by the way, you can get one of these fancy cups. It's refillable at each of the museums for a mere $21.18. But you can refill it at any location.
Nice advertisement. But again, the big thing is anybody that is a Christian, it would make them want to get back in and start rereading because there's a lot of information. So that's kind of what it did to me. As the Ark goes, very cool, very impressive in its size. It's one of those things that was argued years ago how big the cubit was. So once they come down with that, now they knew how what the size is, and of course, a lot of the interior of it is probably a guesstimation on how it was set up. But take that out of it, it's very impressive, and how they put the cages, their storage, living quarters, that kind of stuff is.
I was impressed by how they described the possibility of how they fed and cared for the animals keeping in mind that was 2 of each kind of animal, not species.
Right.
So they were saying today that it's about 1,000, less than 1,000 different kinds of animals were actually on the ark. So it's not as unfathomable as what you would think, because we wouldn't necessarily have every kind of dog or cat or horse or that showing up to go on the ark.
Yeah, because you got to remember that through the generations that the DNA has changed. So that's what a lot of people don't realize. That, and after the ark, there was the
Ice Age.
The Ice Age. So it's cause, like, I know it's very. It makes you put your thinking hat on, and again, it makes me want to reread the creation story, Genesis. So it's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, both of them were really impressive. I'm glad we did it. Now, for the tourist side of it, it did seem a little bit expensive. However, they're pretty big museums, and I'm sure it takes a lot of upkeep. And just the AC alone, the cost for that, I am grateful that they have AC in both buildings.
Oh yeah, because it's hot right now.
Because it's toasty. So having just the expense of it all, I think is. I mean, I get it. It was $40 some for each one of us for both. So it was just over $100 for both of us for both days. And you can stay as long as you want. You can come back in the day, come and go if you want to. I don't know that you would have to take more than a day for each one. I think we probably could have done both of them in a day, but it would have been really exhausting. Yesterday was a lot more walking.
Yeah, and I think, like for today's the Creation Museum, I can see coming back because there's so many people, and it doesn't give you the opportunity to read everything that's there. Ark experience, total different experience, but there's a lot of reading involved in the Creation Museum. So that'd be the biggest thing for me, is there's a lot to read, but you got to try to be courteous of other people that are trying to do the same thing that we are. I want to say that overall, I've already said it, but overall it's a good experience, and if it's anything, it gets you to start thinking. We already have our beliefs, but it's kind of like maybe challenges them a little bit, but challenge is good, so it makes you to go in and do more research. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Did enjoy both days.
Yeah, I did too. I think the planetarium was the hardest for me to agree with, for lack of a better word. I think only because the actual facts, it's still a guesstimate, because there's no man has ever gone that far to say that is what's that star is made of. It's all a guess. I mean, nobody's here been to the sun. How do they know? So.
Right, it's a lot of calculations, granted, man-made calculations, but you have what's that thing that has gone into deep space?
Hubble?
The Hubble telescope. So it is seeing a lot of things. What really gets me from that experience was how far our stars are really away from the planet, and how bright those stars are. And then to say, people are, you can see as more solar systems are created. So, the creator, the God is creating, he doesn't stop creating. So, the space is, we don't know where there's no end really. So he can create as long as he wants to, create as many solar systems as he wants to. So it's cool. I think that's a great explanation for people that want to challenge how this solar system, how our world was created. It wasn't a big bang, or a big bang could have been, but I think that it was God that's created that big bang to begin with. He's the one that created everything in the solar system and beyond. So that's all I got.
The grounds at the Creation Museum are beautiful.
Oh yeah, they are. Very beautiful. But be prepared to park, or pay to park. So
Yeah,
$15
$15
in both
at both
locations.
places, yeah.
But secure parking, it's I would say everybody that we dealt with, staff-wise, very friendly. So it's actually, if you're looking for a break to get away from
Crazy?
society, great location. So, you know, if you had to be a Christian, I would highly recommend both locations.
And even if you're not a Christian.
If you're not, I would highly
Especially if
recommend
you're
it.
seeking, looking, wondering, great place to find answers. Definitely highly recommended.
And if it challenges you, that's even better. So it makes you go in and do some more research. So
Getting that Bible open, dusting up the cover, getting back in there. And there's many, many ways of doing it. You don't have to have your paper Bible, although I do recommend having that. But you can still listen to it on your phone, an app. You can listen to it in your car. There are lots of different ways of learning from the Bible and doing that research. Anything else?
nope.
Highly recommended.
Birds chasing